All right, so it's one of those days. It's one of those moments. Um, just smoke some weed. That's not really the reason why I'm making this video, but today I've been feeling a sense of urgency to just to talk to someone. Um, and like I was saying in my last ramblings, I think there is value in being able to talk, even if it's just to yourself or to a camera. In this scenario. Um, I really have no idea what it is that I want to talk about, but there is definitely some kind of awareness of this need to talk. Maybe not a need, but a desire. Um, there's just, I don't know, I guess there's times and moments, at least like, I don't know, once a week ish, couple times a week. It probably varies a lot depending on my overall mood and what's going on in my life and a bunch of other factors that I couldn't pinpoint exactly. But regardless, I don't know. There's just this gnawing, not a bad gnawing, but there's a gnawing feeling of like just want to talk. Um, and sometimes this gets fulfilled by a friend, family member, um, whether it's like my parents who are literally upstairs right now, or um, one of my good friends, um, but or even yeah, like my sister when she comes over. Regardless of who it is, sometimes it can be fulfilled by another person, and I think there's like a certain niche role that fulfills when another person um when you're able to talk to another human being. um God, I keep getting distracted by my fucking desktop background. They're too cool. They're like the animated wallpaper engine ones. Super pretty. I have to quit out of those though. Um, yeah, this is sometimes the interesting thing about weed is like it makes it very easy to be distracted, more so than usual. Because honestly, I think it's always easy to be distracted, depending on what you're doing and what you're surrounding yourself with currently. Something I've been struggling with lately has been phone. Oh man, like it's so easy to just fucking sit down, whip out your phone, be chilling on the couch, be chilling wherever. Even I'll catch myself doing this at work sometimes, which is bad. Not bad, but like I sometimes feel guilty for being on my phone at work, whatever. But like essentially uh the power that a phone has over you and the apps that are on it, that the power that certain apps have over you. For me, right now it's Discord and Reddit for sure. Besides that, I don't really use any other social media, but occasionally I will pop on to like Twitter or Facebook and be like, "Yep, this has a different kind of force to it." Discord for me is like right now there's like a server that I'm a part of that's kind of interesting, but the thing that really sucks me in and gets me like on it for like multiple hours is like when there's drama. I'm like, well, drama on the internet, like just turn your phone off, dude, or turn the computer off. Like, what are you doing? Um, but like some of the people on the server, it's like a vegan dating server, which I know sounds fucking silly as shit, but it's also just a place to like hang out and whatnot, and it's kind of cool at points, but also at points it's really not because things that they talk about are like insanely ridiculous. I might cut that out because I don't. Well, fuck it, dude. I don't think anyone from that server would ever be watching this, but if they are, yo, that's funny. But I'm sure a lot of people who are on that server would agree. Like the nonsense that people argue about on there. Holy shit! There was like a hours long conversation argument about International Men's Day and people wanting to celebrate it. Men wanting to celebrate it. People being upset about that and calling it cringe. was really fucking, the whole thing was cringe, like from the get go. Such an innocent comment, and seeing someone being like, "Oh, happy International Men's Day," like nothing crazy about it, nothing controversial said, and someone calling it cringe, like it was just goofy. Anyways, see how that can easily be so distracting, like when you're just thinking about something that is dramatic, when people are being dramatic, when other people are caught up in something that you don't understand. I don't know why that has such a pull to it, but it does, and it annoys me a lot. Sometimes I'm like, what the like, why am I even thinking about this? Oh, it's like this, you're getting sucked into something, and then once you're outside of it, you're like, where the fuck was I? Blipping in and out of existence, blipping in and out of awareness. Not a good feeling, especially when it comes to something like, social media like Discord or Reddit or whatever you're using. Playing on your phone, because I don't know about other people, but like for me, the experience of being on my phone is like I'm on my phone, and I'm on my phone for however long. And then once I'm out and I get sucked into it for a little bit of time, and then when I'm out of it, like hazy. The feeling is hazy, kind of disconnected, kind of, wait, what? Like what was going on outside of this? It's not always like that, but there's always that little amount of that feeling, I think, and it varies and depending on how long you were sucked into it and how and what why you were sucked into it and whatever. But it's definitely there, and it's not a good feeling, truly, because I think more often than not, I am ignoring the reality of what's right in front of me, which is either on the weekends, it's me being able to do whatever the fuck I truly want, which is incredible. It's what I always want, is being able to do whatever the fuck I want, but usually what gets in the way of that is work. And when I'm working, I'm working. Besides when I'm not working and I'm on my phone for like 5-10 minutes at a time at most, usually. Um, but it's pretty busy and has been for a while, so like that's not a usual thing. So when I am working, I'm more often than not thinking about what I want to do when I'm not working. And then when I'm not working, I'm not working. Does that make sense? Like I'm not enjoying my time to myself completely the way that I would envision or want myself to. So yeah, it's this weird paradox. I'm sure other people have experienced this too, and it's like really confusing because you're like, am I playing myself? I'm like, am I gooning on myself? Like, why am I doing that? Um, Ideally, you live very much. I mean, obviously, this isn't how humans work, but it's a thing. I was gonna say, like, ideally, you're like, oh, I'm gonna plan to do this, and then I'll do this, and then that's exactly how it goes. But plans in your head never translate to real life exactly how you want them to, at least not most of the time. Um, there's always like these little minor differences, even if things do relatively go the way that you imagine they would. So like, I don't know, it's just you can't really create expectations and ideas of what's going to happen in the future, because while you're doing that, you're missing out on the chance to like truly be there in the present moment and enjoy it for what it is. Whether you like it or not, that's all you have. Um, and I think I've realized this at points in my life, and even when I was really meditating a lot and getting more into spirituality, also when I had a lot more free time, delve into these ideas and have these experiences of being more mindful and present and aware of my experience of life. Even when it was like that, there's still a opposite end of that, which is, being distracted. And that's just what I've been struggling with more lately than not. Um, and this just has so many collateral effects, I feel like. I don't know. Obviously, when you feel disconnected, it's not a good feeling. But why is it not a good feeling? I think it's because I usually feel disconnected from myself primarily, and it's confusing and hard to understand your own feelings when you're disconnected from yourself. Um, so there's just a lot of confusion and um, sometimes anxiety or surrounding like what the fuck you're experiencing. I've noticed a lot of times when I'm not paying attention to my body for long periods of time, I'll come back to it and be like, what the fuck is going on there? And like you'll have a weird pain or feeling in your body, and you're like, am I having a stroke? Or am I having a full body seizure? Like, it's really weird and trippy sometimes because you get so used to being outside of your body, not like astral projecting type shit, but like just not paying attention to your body. Your awareness is in your mind, and not in an intentional way. It's in an unintentional way, and so your body is just doing things on its own without you noticing that it is doing things on its own. And I mean, obviously, your body's always doing things on its own autonomically. A lot of parts of it, but I mean more so the experience of your body is happening on its own, and you're not noticing it. And I'm not saying, you should always be noticing your body, like, and if you're not, then you're losing out on something. Like, there are other things to put your attention and awareness towards. But I think that's just always a good neutral thing to be resting in is your awareness of your body. Anyways, I don't know. I've also been having a lot of thoughts about spirituality and meditation lately. Not a lot, but like I've been kind of inching my way back towards that. I think part of it is as a result of me starting to work out again and be consistent about that, which honestly has been really nice. Um, and I just finished like my first week of working out again after having a couple months break because I injured my back after only 2 weeks of working out. So right now I'm, kind of cautiously excited about continuing on with this because I honestly do enjoy working out. I enjoy the process of working out. I enjoy lifting. I enjoy different exercises. I enjoy going to the gym and feeling like I'm exerting an amount of effort that's like more than I'm usually used to. Um, and feeling the result of that, both like literally like feeling like my muscles, get pumped and kind of I don't know. It's just the whole process of it is very interesting, and I like the after effects of it as well. Um, Mentally and physically, I think I just feel generally better, more clear, more um, aware. Honestly, I think it definitely raises your awareness of certain things when you're exercising consistently. But at the same time, there's definitely a lot of things you notice too when you start to do anything consistently. You notice other parts of your life more that are inconsistent. So I think that's why I started thinking about meditation a lot more lately because I'm like, well, I started doing this consistently and I'm spending hours and hours and hours every day either working out or preparing food for like bulking up and dieting properly. So it's like, and I mean, that's kind of an exaggeration, hours and hours and hours, not every day, but like at least a few days of my week spending more time than I usually do towards a goal. So I'm like, if I can do that with lifting, I'm like, why can't I do that with other things? Whether it's meditation, learning piano, making videos, whatever, whatever pursuit I want to have. And I guess the ironic thing about calling it a pursuit is that at least with meditation, it doesn't necessarily feel like a pursuit. Um, and I guess that's an interesting thing because with lifting, I just was explaining how much I enjoy it, but I definitely have a goal in mind and I'm pursuing that goal. But I think there's a big difference between having a goal in mind and pursuing it at a healthy pace and having a goal in mind and relentlessly and vigorously like going towards it like nothing else matters in your life. I never want any one thing to be that for me. I want to spread myself as thin as possible, I think, and not in like a I want to use all my energy every day kind of way, but like I want to have a balanced spread of myself into the things that matter to me at this moment in time and whatever moments of time that I have access to in the future. Um So that was a funny way of putting it, but I think that makes sense. Um, if that makes, yeah, I mean, I think it's just when I think the problem is when we think about what we want to do, we imagine like the idea of a destination, getting to a point, whether it's with physical goals. Like for me, it's gaining a lot of weight and muscle, but I don't necessarily have like a clear. I have a general idea, I guess. Like I want to reach like a little over 200 pounds or something like that. Um, but like I don't have a time limit on that. I don't have. I mean, I have general ideas of how long that might take if I'm diligent, but I'm not dependent on those things happening within a certain amount of time in order for me to be satisfied. I guess what's really important here, and something that has always resonated with me throughout my life and so many experiences that I've had, is like it's not about the journey, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Which is the cliche saying in and of itself, but I think I've seen it portrayed in so many different um, pieces of art that I've consumed in my life in the form of video games, movies, shows, books, stories, real life events and experiences that I've had and other people have had around me. I think if you're able to truly exist in this moment, um, and you're pursuing a goal in the far future, you have to recognize that in order to truly make it a worthwhile journey, in order to feel satisfied with what you're doing and this goal that you're working towards, you have to place your energy and your awareness, or I guess more specifically, your attention on what you're doing right now in this moment. And that doesn't mean like, oh, if you're not constantly thinking about and doing things to achieve your goal, then you're not focused on your goal. It's just that you have to know that you cannot always be working towards this goal literally all the time. Um, and it's not healthy to like look at something. I mean, God, I don't want to speak in absolutes either. I guess it may be sounding like that. There are certain things in terms of goals that you can have that are like necessary goals, I guess you could say. Like a hypothetical here would be like, my goal is to not be homeless. So like someone who's in a financial situation that is really dire, they have a lot of debt, they're living paycheck to paycheck. If their goal is to, save up enough money so that they can get out of a certain situation financially or romantically or whatever, those are goals that I can understand why someone would pursue relentlessly. And I think if we're talking about reducing suffering as much as possible, then I understand why someone would do that. Because it's like you need to, essentially in that situation, you're on fire and you need to extinguish the fire as fast as possible. Um, it's like you have, it's a silly analogy, but like you have this interest that is compounding, this interest of suffering. So like it's compounding, and the longer you put off paying off that debt, um, that loan, uh, then the more that suffering will accrue, that interest will accrue. So I get that. I think in the grand scheme of things, it's better to focus on putting out that fire first, and then getting to a point where you can balance out your life more meaningfully. Um, that was just a funny analogy. I definitely notice when I'm when I'm high, I have no problem just gliding around my mind and letting all these different tangents of thought kind of play out. Um, but also I started out this video by saying I just wanted to talk, and I think whether I got high or not, I probably would have been having a similar train of thoughts or whatever. Trains of thoughts. um, but yeah, I don't know. It always feels good to talk, I think, unless you don't want to. Um, I definitely have met and talked to people who say they don't like to talk or are scared to talk or are hesitant to talk because of experiences that they've had with other people in their lives where they didn't make the person feel good for talking, you know, where they shut them down or did not listen or did made them feel worse for talking. I get that. I mean, I know that I've had experiences like that, but I truly believe a big part of growing as a person is being able to forgive the past experiences that you've had and let go or at least change the past feelings of resentment that you have towards a person or a situation that you experienced. Um, God, yeah, that reminds me. When I was pretty into meditation, and I was part of this Discord server that was focused on meditation and spiritual work related stuff. Um, I remember one of my friends sent me this thing about, I think it's like Lester Levinson. Let me see if I can find it. Lester Levinson. Yeah. Love. Lester Levinson love technique. I think I found it. So basically, this guy Lester Levinson, he wrote like this whole thing about how I think he was dying at some point, and he was really kind of suffering with the whole situation as one does when they find out they're dying, and he was relatively young. Um, I don't honestly I can't remember like the whole situation, but essentially the lesson he was teaching was that he figured out a way to kind of change every single relationship that he had mentally to experiences that he was having and had in the past to that of love. So, like, if he had a feeling towards something in his past of anger or resentment or sadness or confusion or annoyance, he basically asked himself, can I change this feeling into love? And it wasn't like some miracle shit, but like he spent years, I think, kind of changing his perspective on every little thing that he experienced in his past. Um, Not every little thing, but like kind of changing his perspective on everything that he was experiencing and some of the things he had experienced in his past, and he changed those feelings into that of love, which it may sound a little floofy and crazy, but like the whole idea was that you're exchanging a heavy kind of uh heavy weight emotion, um something that is hard to carry, with an emotion or the feeling of love, which is light and easy to carry, um, and therefore unburdening yourself from past traumas and a lot of other things. And this is super simplifying the whole thing, but it always resonated with me. And I think I don't know, I think about it a lot, and I've tried to do it myself with certain things, but you get caught up in shit, and life keeps on going, and things happen. So yeah, you get a little bit I guess resentful about life, and you get a little annoyed and you get a little worked up about it. And I think you just forget about that, you know? You forget about it, and it becomes very easy to get blinded by all those things that you're experiencing and the buildup of all your past traumas still affecting you and causing you to be burdened. So, yeah, I mean, I don't blame anyone for that because I've been there. Everyone's been there to some extent, to varying extents. And yeah, I mean, suffering is real. It's super real. Um, and I think that's why I keep on thinking about getting back into meditation, and why I've fallen in and out of it so many times is because meditation has always been something that I have experienced truly beneficial and beautiful things from doing on a consistent basis. And it's probably one of the only things in my life that I've done consistently that I can say is purely a good thing and purely something that reduces my suffering overall. I guess another one would be therapy. Um, but I mean, there's really not many. Because even some of my favorite things like video games and music and shows and movies, there's some bad to those things. And not to say that there's not bad to meditation either, or even therapy. There's definitely bad to meditation, but for in my experience so far, I have not experienced anything that made my suffering worse by meditating, if that makes sense. Um, Obviously, there's been ups and downs with my suffering and my experience meditating, but again, it's just I don't know. I always look at it like something that I know will pay dividends if I do it consistently, just like working out, just like um going to therapy, just like going to work, just making money, having a job, um learning diligence, all that. There's just yeah, I don't know, it has a really good return ratio on it if you want to think of it like financially. Um I don't know. Thinking about finances lately because of stocks and shit. I just invested money into my first index fund not too long ago, so I learned quite a bit about, not quite a bit, but a bit about that, and kind of also buying a car recently. Yeah, you learn things about things. The world is crazy and interesting and weird and confusing like that. It's a whole nother thing. I don't like to get too wrapped up in anything really. I mean, I obviously I get into things a little bit at a time because either I need to or want to. In the case of like a car and stocks, it was because I needed to get a car slash wanted to. Um, and with the stocks, I learned about just investing and financial independence, retiring early, fire movement. That shit's interesting. Um, I don't know if I'm ever, well, I mean, not ever, but like, I don't know if I'll really get into that. Um, or if I won't at some point, but I don't know. God damn. I'm fucking zooted. I mean, this has been a good little chat. How long have we been going? 27 minutes? A nice 30-minute chat. My hair's a little greasy. That's all right. Um, Getting the gains though, as you can see. um, I truly am excited to see how my body changes over the next few months. I think I have the diligence and the knowing of how to do this shit now. So really, if I just follow through, which I think I can and will, as long as I don't injure myself, that's the big thing that looms over me. It's like if I injure myself again, but I'm being very careful this time, listening to my body, starting really really small with how much I'm lifting, at least with certain lifts, and yeah, I'm not doing anything crazy. So I'm hoping that I'll build up a lot of confidence and strength and take my time with it and just have fun. And then eventually it'll just be an unstoppable rolling ball of momentum. And I'll just keep eating a lot of fucking food and getting bigger. And yeah, um, I'm excited about that. But I'm not in any rush. You know, it's going to be a learning process. It's going to be a back and forth battle. There's going to be times where I might have to stop for like a moment, like a week, few days, depending on what's going on with life. But I'm going to try my best to stick to it. There's very few things in my life that I've truly stuck to for like a year or two or multiple years, like I can't even really think of anything right now. Um, but I don't know. It feels like something that I've always wanted to do and I know I can do it. So it's like, why the fuck not? Dude, live up to the potential that you know you have, the way I see it. I'm gonna try doing that physically, and I think I might try doing that spiritually as well. Again, I guess mentally. by starting to meditate again and get into a consistent schedule with that. If I can do those two things, I think my experience of life will be a lot easier and nicer. Yeah, I would say yes. That is definitely would be the case. And I think I'll be able to help myself suffer less primarily and help others suffer less. I always want to be as grounded as possible. First, primarily for myself, but also for others. As a result, I think it has to be in that order, or else you aren't doing the greatest good that you can. Um, but yeah, I'm. That's the end of my rambling for today. I need to go fucking. I don't need to do anything, but I want to go play some video games. I'm finishing up Final Fantasy VII. Maybe a little bit of Sonic. Um, it's a short little week this week. It's Thanksgiving week. Only a few days of work ahead of me, and then I have like a 4-day weekend. Okay, let's go. So that'll be epic. Yeah, life's cool, man. Um, I'm just moving along. Um, I'll be 25 like a week. Oh, I'll be 25 in a week and 4 days. Whoa. The number doesn't scare me at all. The only thing that slightly scares me slash annoys me is the insurance thing at 26, but maybe I'll just fucking move to Canada or something by the time I'm like 27. I don't know. I'm just throwing a little guess out there. Let's just see what happens. Planting a little seed for the future. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, peace out, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. I love you, future self.